My name is Shrestha Kulkarni and I am a DL student for this course, and for my project I have attempted to do data analysis on a data set about the popularity of news articles at Mashable.com. This data set was extracted as part of a study done on some sort of sentiment analysis on these articles by different authors, and I have in this project looked at this data set with the intent of finding the attributes which are contributing most towards the prediction of the popularity or the class variable shares. And I have used two different techniques to achieve that. One is linear regression and another is decision tree. First, there are some trends from raw data like the class variable shares, which is actually the measure of popularity of the articles on the website, is highly skewed, and it has extreme outliers. It has shares as low as 2 or 3 and shares as high as 800,000. So with this kind of skewed data, the relationship amongst the class variables and the other features is not very visible. But there are still some interesting trends visible in the raw data, like although the articles published on Saturday are comparatively less as compared to the articles published on weekdays, both in terms of their popularity measures and their raw numbers. But the articles published on Saturday have the maximum percentage of average count of high shares, or they have the maximum percentage of high popularity articles. The other interesting thing to look for in the data set is that there are a lot of features in this data set which do have a centered distribution, in the sense that their means and modes are equivalent, in the sense that their means and medians are equivalent, but they have their mode value lies at 0, which suggests that either they have an extremely low contribution towards the class variable, or their variability has shrunk due to the skewness in shares. This is a visualization of the data trends that I was just speaking about. So we can see in the first graph that the articles published on weekdays are producing some extreme outliers in the shares, but still you can see the difference between the low popularity articles and the high popularity articles is greatest on Saturday. By the way, to interpret this graph, you should know that the low articles, the articles having shares less than 1400 are termed as low popularity articles. Also in the next graph, you can see the amount of skewness the class variable share has. Finally, the last slide gives you some insights that were derived out of the actual data analysis that I have done. The first one is the logarithmic transformation of the raw data provides a better variability or a better visualization of the variance amongst different features. So it also reduces the outlier effect. However, even after logarithmic transformation, the actual relationships between the various features and the class variable shares is not visible. All you can see is a cloud of data points. This suggests that actual relationship might lie in some other components, which is the intuition towards the principal component analysis that I have tried to do in this study. Lastly, as I said, that I attempted to do two different models in which the linear regression model was attempted on a data set before principal component analysis, and the decision tree was attempted on a data set after principal component analysis. And both of and linear regression, while accounts for or while gives a better variability in the data, it does not predict the class variable correctly. And the decision tree, while it predicts the class variable correctly, it does not specify the variability of the data or the variance of the data very precisely. So the conclusion of the study is that any single predictive strategy would not be good in this kind of a data set. We should be looking at some sort of hybrid model or some sort of ensemble model like random forest, which was the original technique that the authors of the original data set had applied. So this sums up the analysis of the project of this sums up the ECT 584 project for me. Thank you very much.